Oh, we're 5 minutes early. 5 minutes early. Morning, friends. No, it's not not 40 minutes today. 30 minutes, but more zone 2. Why my phone decides to go berserk as soon as I go live, I do not know. Hello everyone, good morning. I know I'm a little bit early because I was hoping to start at 9, so that's why I've joined a bit early. Watch out for the clipping. And the other one. Let it be known in the chat who is here today. Let me see your face. Right, so I've got this charming workout on the deck. It's just going to be a gradual increase of time in zone 2, a total of 15 minutes there or thereabouts, whilst also making my way up to upper zone 2 here. And noting how the heart rate responds. I think ramps are going to be my new friend, particularly the next month or so. I've got a month or just under a month to get ready for the WTRL season 2, which I think is possible. I've got a new FTP number down here, which is it's derived from my WKO data, but it's also WKO says 325, based on obviously no data now, all this time off. My CTL, my fitness is 44, and yeah, I've got to funny, on my CTL is 44, yet my FTP is still 5.3 watts per kilo. But yeah, we've got to build this back up gradually over time. So I'm looking for I don't know, an FTP of 340-ish by January. Actually, if it was 340 by January, it'd be only 20 watts off my best ever January numbers anyway. So I'm kind of looking for a ballpark. So anyway, I might as well get started. Morning, Laura. Morning, David. Right, let's get the show on the road then. I've got an itchy eye. How is everybody doing on this? It's actually quite nice here on Tuesday. For a Tuesday in Wales. Hey Oslo, how you doing? Yeah. Not quite like us. How long have I had off? I had 3 and a bit weeks, I think, of no riding at all. And this last week has been riding, but like only this kind of simple, really steady effort. So it's as weird as it is, like obviously the less training I do and the less volume, intensity, I'm still trending down. I'm still losing power. So even by doing these rides, although I'm getting back into it and I'm going that way, my fitness is still going that way. Because of how fit I am, I need to do more to obviously stop that decline. So it's like a catch-22. It's a catch-22 right now. So demoralizing. You never really see I feel I don't see it a lot anyway online. You never really see someone go from there to there and then go to there again. You only ever see them go from there to there, and then a couple of weeks down the line they appear to be back there, and you don't see that bit in between. Yeah, let's hope, Nick. Let's hope there's no long-lasting effects. What advice is that, Tim? If I'm not moving forward, I'm going backwards. Morning, gang. I managed to get my funky coloured Tron back. A little bit, Tim, a little bit. I definitely understand what you're saying. I was thinking of doing a Crit City. The thing is, they won't let me do a B-Cat race, will they? No, I was thinking I've got to do intensity at some point. And so ramps are my friend. So I'm going to be doing some ramps. So ramp up, ramp down. I've got loads of time. I've got a month to get ready for WTRL Season 2. And my FTP is 325 estimated. So it's like I'm still carrying a 5.2, 5.3 watt per kilo FTP. So the trick is to like, obviously, just get back into it. Yeah, I get that, Tim, I get that, but you have to remember my density in cycling goes so deep that I can overload really quickly when I need to. So when the time's right, I could do 2 30-hour weeks back to back and I'd respond really well to it. So, you know, there's no like panic as to, like, I'm not going to be like an amateur cyclist and take ages to get back. I should get back very quickly when the time presents itself. Like, even with the WTRL Season 2, it might only take me 1 or 2 races just to rekindle it. It's all hypothetical, isn't it? But I've also got to get used to pedaling again. Morning, Lord. It's interesting having erg mode on, actually, because now there's no getting away from it. And it's interesting seeing how my heart rate responds with no deviation in power. Well, there is deviation because we're doing little blocks, but in terms of like a steady state effort, people have asked me like, how do I feel? And I feel, quite frankly, the same as I feel after like having a long period off. So I don't feel like I've been ill. I just feel like I've had a month off the bike. Which I don't know which is worse. But it feels very uncomfortable. I think because it's been so long since I have had time off of this extent. Like I've taken, a couple of days off to freshen up. I've taken, a week off, but never something like 4 weeks. I haven't done that in about 2 years. So it's really making a difference to my perceived exertion, and it's almost clouding my judgment a little bit. How serious was the leg injury, Lucas? Morning, Niels, by the way. So we estimate that I've lost 10 watts or 11 watts every week on my FTP for the last 4 weeks. Actually, no. More than that. 12 watts. Yeah, that's very loose, that is, Josh. Because I think there's too many factors that play into it. Because, like, it won't take me 2 months to get back. If I have a month off, it won't take me 2 months. It's going to take me, like, 6 months to get back to the sensations I was feeling. Maybe I get back to the same FTP there or thereabouts quickly, but to what detriment? Okay, Lucas. I wouldn't actually think it would take you that long. If you've been cycling for 5 years consistently, I'd estimate it wouldn't take you that long. Because, I mean, 4 months is a long time, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't have thought, with somebody of your experience and training depth, I don't think it'll take you a long, long time. Oh, hi Lee, thanks for joining. Cheers, Gunnar. There's so many people telling me to not rush what I'm doing. There's so many people telling me not to rush it, and I don't know whether they're telling me that because I had COVID, or they're telling me that because I've had the time off. But you don't need to worry about telling me to take it easy. I'm the best person in the world on taking things easy. It's a very, very big misconception possibly that I never ride easy or I don't know how to take it easy. The truth is, I need to be told or motivated to push. So yeah, I don't really need I don't really need any help to be held back. To be fair, this isn't even easy, is it? Oh, 100% Lucas, 100%. And if you need to reach out, then don't hesitate, buddy. No, you might be true actually, though. It might be true. I think to be honest, like it really opens it up. It really opens it up to like WTRL season 2. Like you're gonna see a different side of me. You know, you might see a side of me that doesn't make the front splits now. You know, who knows what could happen, but it could make it more exciting. It could make it more exciting. Obviously, we don't want that to happen. Like, I want to be in the front group, but my steady trajectory might not even get me there, so we'll see. It'll be interesting. Yeah, Lee, this is why I always say to people, like, never to take a long spell off the bike, because it almost reverses. It's better to keep the body in equilibrium and to just do something steady and tick away than to stop completely, because it's just that much harder to get going again. Morning, Agnes. No, I'm not racing yet, Sam. I'm not racing. Hi, Ollie. How you doing? Yeah, good question, Josh. So I'm ramping up to top of zone 2. You're gonna see the graph go like a tiny little bit green, where I'm literally like maybe the last minute gonna go into the very first numbers of zone 3, and that's all you're gonna see when that ramp happens. It won't make what more exciting? The races. The thing is as well, with the races in WTRL Season 2, if I'm at a lower fitness level, I'm more likely to be aggressive, I'm more likely to attack, I'm more likely to animate, because the best form of defense is attack. No. I tell you why. It's the same thing that some people respond to it well, some people don't. Racing your way back to fitness, I respond very well to it. So after a month, and then we hit WTRL, I start racing, just pushing myself that little bit is probably going to just go like that and give me a nudge every now and then. Oof. To be honest, even my legs, like my muscles, they feel quite weak, if I'm honest. Not weak as in weak from illness. Weak as in it's been a month since I've done this form of activity. Which is another reason why I'm taking it so easy. Because, like, if I hadn't run for a month and then I took up running, I'd be like, what the heck has happened the next day? Why have you had to get a test, Ollie? Have you been in contact with me? I think you're right there, Josh. Yeah, I think you're right. 12th of January, Lord. So just under a month. So this is great actually, because what I'm doing now is finding out if that guesstimate of my FTP is right, because at 145 beats a minute I should be at about 280 watts. So, you know, that would be like just coming into zone 3. 150 beats a minute would be about 300 watts. So this is a great example of how you can evaluate your FTP and make an assumption of, have I set it too high, have I set it too low? Or my physiology. In what sense, Lee? No, Lucas. All right. Well, I hope the test comes back positive, Ollie. If it comes back negative, that'll be a little bit weird. If you've got those symptoms. But saying that, not every symptom is related to it. See what happens, bud. Keep us in the loop. Yeah, it's a long time, Lord, isn't it? It's a long time away. And we're doing the Festive 500 as well. So that's a nice little ramp up of duration to about, I don't know, 13 or 14 hours of riding that week. No, prolonged training. I mean, everybody will react differently to training, obviously. So as you say, like physiological factors for different people. But for the most part, most people will see a decrease in heart rate or a leveling of heart rate and an increase in power for the same heart rate. Yeah, we're doing the Festive 500 inside just because of the cold air on the lungs. Oh, I much prefer riding outside, Will. Much prefer riding outside. Nah, it's not that long, Niels. It's not that long. $500k indoors on flat roads. Has it affected your heart rate and breathing? Well, that is difficult to say, Lee. The reason why it's difficult to say is because, obviously, I've taken a month off the bike, so my heart rate's going to be higher anyway. My breathing's going to be faster and, like, quicker. So, I can't answer that question. Obviously, when I actually had the virus, my resting heart rate was about 20 beats higher. But that's gradually come down again now. But it's not kind of returned. It's not kind of returned to where it was prior. So I used to have a resting heart rate of around 48, 47, and it's about 60 now. But that, you see, that's why I can't compare it, because that is likely down to detraining and freshness rather than the virus. So hence why my mind is a little bit like, I'm so torn between doing things on the bike now, because I don't know whether it's the month off that's causing, you know, the breathing, which it is, or is it the virus? It's likely to be a bit of both. That's why I'm taking it cautiously. Do I think a festive 500 inside would be more mental and physical? Not really, because outside you're going to have the weather, which is crap, where I live. You're also going to have the climbs. So to do the festive 500 here outside, probably take me about a 20-hour week. But to do it indoors, it's going to take me like 30 hours. So it's easier indoors. Plus we have the live stream, plus we have people who we're going to do the group ride with. So it helps massively. It's actually very easy indoors. What's wrong with my heart rate, David? Yeah, I can't really relate to that, Philip, because obviously, like, April is a bit warmer, and it's not so much going out, it's just the cold air, and in here it's warm. That's a terrible thing to say, Josh. That's a terrible thing to say to a man who's lost 60 watts off his FTP, 50 watts off his FTP. Oh, 100% Niels, 100%. Definitely, Mick, definitely. Martin. Yeah, well, I actually haven't seen the video, but I got sent it by Scott. I mean, yeah, whatever floats his boat in it. I mean, was he taking it seriously or not? I mean, he was obviously in the top 25 finishing, but well, sort of, Lord, but you usually get, so when you come out riding from a ride here, and it's like, you know, less than 5 degrees, you just end up coughing anyway. But because of the obviously what's happened, it could aggravate it a bit more. So Josh, I think so have you gained all those 50 watts back again? What we're gonna see, like, over the next month to 2 months, is how quick, probably how rapid you'll see me just go into a zone where I will not be fazed by like anything. It's almost like the next 2 months is a training camp where I will not be, apart from my own sensations, nothing will waver me. I'll attack, I'll be aggressive in every race, I'll be clinical in every session. Even these sessions, I'll be clinical and make sure that they're done right. And there's a difference between doing them right and then thinking, oh, you know what, I'll just add another block on, or I'll just add another 20 watts onto this effort. No, that's not what clinical means over this next month or so. Morning, Phil. Morning, Phil. Number 2. There's 2 of you. I feel fine. Well, obviously, apart from my huge heart rate reading right now. No, Mick. No, nothing wrong. No, I don't feel like anything's wrong at all, apart from general undoing of my fitness over the last few weeks. Ryan, the Festive 500 is taking place on a set date, so we can't change it. And Martin, we made sure that we covered like a broad range of sizes, but it was really hard to actually like put a number on each one, if that makes sense. So how many we're gonna order of each. It's quite a limited edition run, I think. But thank you. Thanks, Phil. Like, what I've got to start focusing on, really, and I'm taking you through all this so I look vulnerable, and I want to show the vulnerability. I want to show you that even though my FTP is still 5.2, 5.3 watts per kilo, which some of you are going to scoff at and think, you know, well, my FTP is only 4. I totally get that. But the whole point is, I've made such a fall, just like a lot of you have. You know, when you've taken a month off or whatever, we're all the same. And I want to I don't want to not show that. This is more important this next month than like anything I do next year. If you miss this, you're not going to get whatever I do next year. You're not going to have the full context. Last minute. Like, you know, I'm 4 watts per kilo now, which is great still, you know. I'm still saying 4 watts per kilo is still high, don't get me wrong. I understand that. I coach a lot of people. You know, I understand that. My legs feel fine, but they're not used to pedaling, if that makes sense. Does the power heart rate is understandable, but how do your legs feel? Does it feel like zone 2 did? As in, my legs, do my legs feel like zone 2 power or heart rate? Oh, I'm sweating. Look at these numbers here, your best ever. Guys, feel free to kick me while I'm down, because you'll be laughing the other side of your face in 2 months' time. Any trolls? That's what I mean. Any trolls? Feel free. Feel free. Now is your time. I'll see you, Niels. Sorry, buddy. What's wrong with the 19 TSS, Simon? What's wrong with the 19 TSS? On my no, the RPE hasn't changed. No, I wouldn't say the RPE feels. It just, it's like it's trying to separate what I thought before to what I think now. So like taking all kind of, I need to almost forget about all of my power numbers pre where I am now, because the more you think about it, the more you reframe where you are differently. So that's why I just think, you know, where I am now is where I am now. Yeah, my heart rate fluctuates a lot, doesn't it? Obviously I'm talking, but like my heart rate fluctuates a lot, mainly because I'm fresh, and the cadence changes slightly. So yeah, Josh, the thing is, like, you just ignore the heart rate. Like, as soon as you feel like you're back into a place, like you just ignore heart rate anyway. Is that your body saying back to normal, go down heart rate, or do you change cadence? Yeah, I think it's just a change of cadence. Although my FTP is set somewhat pretty low. Yeah, EDMODE powered by Charles and X60s. I love that, Lee. I love that. Yeah, to be fair, that's right, innit, David? To be fair, that's the thing as well. So when your fitness is low, it's obviously easier to accumulate TSS. So if I was to go and knock out, not that I would, but knock out, say, 1,000 TSS week, I could probably do that now easier, weirdly, than when I was at 375 watt FTP. And that's the difference sometimes. So I think you know, because my CTL now is so low at like 40, it'll be really critical now to kind of monitor that over the next month or two and see where that kind of just steps and where it just punches through a ceiling. Because the thing is, like, I've trained and I've raced long enough to know that it'll only take 3 weeks of, like, you know, really kind of being in the zone, a bit like what the vegan cyclist is doing now, and to really launch that number. And you kind of throw a little bit of the CTL ramp rate out the window, particularly when you're a well-trained individual, because again the CTL rates are different for everybody. There is a range of 5 to 8 a week usually, but when you're like an elite athlete, you know, you can overshoot that massively, you know, for a very short space of time. So it's really interesting. It is really interesting. Lucas. Yeah, good shout, Mick. I mean, I could just put like a piece of black tape over the TV screen. Yes, Lord, that's it. Actually, we went there last night. I'm pretty sore today. Um, but I spoke to, we did a strength and conditioning class. And it's up on Strava. I recorded it on my watch, so you can see my heart rate and everything there, and a couple of the exercises. I was speaking to the gym owner. It's only a small like gym in like a warehouse unit, and he was just talking about like, he asked me what I did, and I told him like, well, I kind of rode a bike for a living, sort of, or rather I used to, and now I've kind of gone my own way. He was like asking me like a million questions about it. I haven't told him about YouTube yet. Maybe I should. Get him to Cameo. Oh, Charlie's messaged me. Charlie's sent me a GIF of like, do you know one of those what do you call them? You know when you go into an airport and there's like a really long walk to a terminal, and you get on one of those things that kind of takes you, it's like a moving floor. What are they called? I can't remember what they're called. She sent me a GIF of somebody like holding onto one of those and like dragging along on the ground. She's got some severe DOMs today after last night. Thank you, David. Yeah, it will be an interesting return. Idea for future batches of merch. Maybe some small, discrete detail to differentiate different batches or years of merch. What about yeah, all kinds of gym games. What about if it's a completely different logo or design, Lord? Because the next one is, by the way, the next one is the watts per kilo is a piece of cake. So oh no, I wouldn't ramp it up too quickly. No, that's not me at all. That's not me at all. People, yeah, the escalator on the floor thing. People often, so like, I know Alex Dose. So those of you that follow Alex Dose, he took 3 weeks off when he had COVID, and then he immediately kind of started doing, well, I think his second ride back was like 4.5 hours. And obviously, like, when you look at that, it's difficult for me to look at that and not feel like overwhelmed by it, because obviously what I'm doing is completely different to Alex, and I don't think there's a right or wrong because we don't really know. But yeah, it's difficult to look at what Alex is doing, and obviously, you know, he fitness wise he's improving, and they're like, you know, massive steps. But yeah, I don't know. Like, you might be like, you might be thinking like, because you've followed me this year, especially if you have only followed me this year on YouTube and you haven't like seen the last like 3 years of like me training and racing. A lot of my content this year has just been like me racing on Zwift and doing back-to-back races, and you all think it's funny that I only get like 50 TSS for like an hour's race, blah blah blah. But that's just because I'm capable of doing it. I'm so fit that I'm capable of riding at that level, because the races don't take as much out of me. I'm not flexing. That's just that's just what happens, you know. But like I'm like the opposite of what you probably might think. Like, yeah, that's more subscribers, Lord. Yeah, definitely. That's what I like almost not dislike about YouTube, but like you need like almost with anything on the internet, you need to be able to step back and look at like everything that I've done, and then make your judgment or have your viewpoint on it, rather than just being here for. And it happens to everybody, I know that, but like it's even worse sometimes when you're dealing with fitness, because especially elite fitness, because elite fitness is obviously harder to grasp and harder to attain. So it becomes like further away from the norm. Same with intelligence. Like if people come across as very intelligent, it almost seems too. But then if you look back and you go, oh, this person actually spent like, you know, they failed their exams or like, you know, there's obviously a story behind it. Just like hopefully some people said like this is actually a good thing. This is gonna sound weird now. This is actually a good thing for me and for the subscribers that have come on board this year, because they'll get to see like basically David beating Goliath a month or two ago. Now he's fallen from his rock and he's kind of sat on the floor in the corner. He's still kind of strong, you know, but not as strong as when he beat Goliath. And now we see David work back up again with a little sprinkle of EDMODE. So I think for the people who have just joined or kind of come on board in this last, you know, 6-12 months, they'll see something more relevant. It might still be inspiring, it might still be motivating. Well, if anything, I bloody hope it is, because I'm going from what I'd consider, like the thing is, like, and I'll get heat for this, but where I'm at now, like my FTP now is where it was, well, you've seen it, like my FTP back in like 2014 is the same as what it is now. Yeah, Matthias, yeah. Those were the days. Oh, nice one, Lord, nice one. So yeah, like my FTP now is where it was, you know, like 6 years ago. And you might be forgiven for thinking that, like, you know, if you didn't know that I was ill or something, you might think, oh, like, oh, what's happened? Like, he's fallen off the wagon or something. But like, it is kind of like going from that, which is like, this for me now is like, unless I had like a horrendous injury and I was off the bike for, you know, a year, or, you know, if I could never ride my bike again, you know, things like that, like you put into perspective, don't you? Like things like that, like you thank that you're not in that position. But like where I'm at now is probably like the lowest I've been since that crash in Canada 2 years ago. Because like technically, like I've been ill, I've had time off, and although it's been made easier because of you guys and, you know, the brands who support this as well, it's been made easier. And Charlie's been very supportive and stuff, and I really appreciate that. But it's been harder because of, you know, the fact that we've been in lockdown and everything else, and it's kind of, it was like, oh yeah, you know, 2020, like good job, like you've really done it properly, like right at the end of the year. But hopefully, yeah, I just want to say, like, hopefully this relates more to a lot of you than most of my stuff that I've done this year. So in a sense, I'm actually more relatable, and this build up is something that you can relate to more. I don't know. Oh, cheers, David. Thanks for sharing it. It definitely did have some traction. Yeah, it did. It did. I did see the spike the other day. Yes, Lord. Yeah, that's right, Agnes. That's right. That's what we need, Rasha. We need like a Lionel Sanders. Yeah, I think so, Mick. Although, it's that type of video is difficult because everybody's everybody has different ways of coming back. But like for me, I'm like I could easily put together a video just telling you like what I did in the 4 weeks, for example, to get to WTRL season 2. Cheers, Rob. Thank you. So I could easily do it, but I don't want people to take it out of context, so to speak. Where do I stand on full rest weeks? You mean full rest weeks as in complete weeks of rest, like no cycling? Oh, we had our Tour Britain prize money today from last year. I make that crystal clear that I don't take full weeks off the bike. I don't take like a whole week. Like 3 days off, 3 days of rest can be like every 6 weeks, or rather like, well, every 4 weeks can be more beneficial than having like a full rest week for most of the time. But I don't know anybody who takes like a full rest week personally. They're always doing something in that rest week. It's not a thing I look forward to, but everyone's kind of got to get away from like the like cycling's a difficult one because like you never gain peak fitness with one workout. It's cliche with consistency, but like the hole you dig yourself in with cycling sometimes needs those rest periods. Oh, thanks for that message. Cheers. What was I gonna say? You've also got to be training consistently enough as well to not so much earn the rest weeks, but if it's not needed, then it's not needed. Like, yeah, Phil, for example, has like a couple of rest days here and there that are unplanned. And usually that almost takes away the need for a rest or deload week. And it's difficult to balance because sometimes, you know, things crop up at work or, you know, well, anything can happen really that affects it. So, you know, unless you live and breathe cycling and that's all you do is like devote, like that is your main priority every day is to train or to rest, then, you know, you're never going to have that consistency that then requires a rest week, is what I'm saying. The consistency might be there in order to create stimulus and changes, but like, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, Rob. I know what you mean. You know, I was lucky enough, like in my cycling club, to have guidance, or not guidance, but to learn from mistakes that like the 70-year-old riders who are still there in the club, like they tell me stories about when they raced in their 20s, like, you know, back in the 50s and 60s, and they just be flogging themselves every day. And that's not to say that it didn't work, because you see the likes of like Eddie Merckx, you know, Onkatil, all these riders doing the same thing, but not that's how training has evolved almost, is that it's not a one size fits all. I think that's how, like, maybe that's where it was misinterpreted, like back in the day, like 40 years ago. You know, everybody thought that was the way to train. Actually, the way to train is the way that your body responds the best to training. Like, ideally, in an ideal scenario, like with Phil, I'd get him to train every day. But it would be like small sessions every day that would accumulate to a progressive overload. You know, in fact, I do that with almost anybody in an ideal scenario. Even if one of those days was a recovery ride. But of course, we don't all live like professional riders, professional athletes. Like, I've been there, and now that's not a thing now. But like, yeah, I mean, that's the thing with cycling. Like, you could do everyday workouts, but you could even do even shorter workouts. But every morning, every evening, like, even that would be like, oh, you're talking about really doubling down on stuff then, I'd have thought. An EDMODE hoodie. Good shout. 30-30s. Yes, Tickr pre-race to warm the lungs. Oof. It's amazing, isn't it, what they thought, like, worked and didn't work. And I'm sure we'll see the same thing in the future of our lifetime as well. Super interesting. Right, I'm gonna end it there because I got some stuff to do. So yeah, I'm gonna bid you farewell. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for joining me on my spin. Remember to hit that like button before you head off. I appreciate it. How high intensity would you have to go if you only do short workouts? Your intensity factor would roughly be around 0.8. That's the downside with doing that, by the way, Lord, is that you can never specialize. You're almost always doing the same thing. So when I say like one workout a day, it would have to be like, you know, that one workout a day could be a 4-hour ride with a load of efforts in it. Hence why I followed it up with saying that, well, yeah, we all can't train like professionals, innit? Usually that's what it equals out to being, like a 0.8 intensity factor for more sessions, for people to be able to continuously be able to train, you know, day after day. You know, if they were doing like 0.9 intensity factor with 90% of FTP day after day, they would start to get like pretty broken down with it. So like a 0.8 is like it's like a happy medium. Yeah, cheers guys. Cheers people. Guys is like a widespread term for boys and girls, by the way. Well, at least that's how I say it, yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye.